And you know what else? This is take this as a badge of honor if you want to. Making sure that we have that track will make it this will be the first episode of the show that's ever had an explicit tag on it.
Fair enough. Breaking records.
No, I've really been enjoying the album a lot, man. I just who doesn't like bagpipes and punk music? I think it's a pretty universally loved combination. You guys do it really well.
Thank you.
I do think, and I hope I'm not out of place saying this. I do think it's the kind of thing that like it could be like campy. It could turn into a gimmick, and so it has to be done right to like come off cool. And you guys do it right. I like it.
Thanks.
Not that you need my approval for it to be good, of course, but I sure like it. Speaking of the band name, Aaron, the Grinning Barretts, clever. I like it because it's like Grin and Barrett, the Grinning Barretts.
Yeah, you know what? You might be one of the first people who actually got that.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. So
gold star for me.
Yeah. Maybe not the first, but you know, like a lot of people are like, Barrett, what is a Barrett? You know.
Yeah.
So
well. Is it a nod to Stan Rogers at all? Because I thought of Barrett's Privateers.
But
let's
maybe
go
that's
with
just
that. A coincidence.
Let's go with that. Given recent events, let's go with that. That's not what it was, but let's go with that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
because I didn't even know at first. I mean, you guys are up in Canada, is that right?
Yeah. Vancouver Island, Canada.
Gotcha. Not that you have to be in Canada to have anything to do with Stan Rogers, of course, but just like, you know, that was maybe some free association going on in my head then, rather than something that was intentional, huh?
Well, I will admit Stan Rogers died about 4 months after I was born, so I had never had the opportunity to see him play live. I do know people who have, though, and I'm jealous of them, I will admit.
Oh, yeah, dude. I would love to have that experience for sure.
Oh, it would have been incredible, you know? But,
yeah. Well, then let's do that. Let's use that as like our starter on a little biography bit. Aaron, tell me about is that where you grew up? Are you living where you grew up, or where did you grow up? And
I grew up about a 45-minute drive from where I am now.
Very cool. You still have family close then?
Yeah. My dad's here. I'm in Nanaimo, British Columbia now. My dad's moved from Duncan to here. I grew up in Duncan. My sister's in Vancouver. Family's kind of here, there, and all over the place, but you know, I've got family. My mom was originally from Ontario, so I got family out there, and family in Alberta, and family in other parts of BC, and you know, so we're kind of all over the place.
My own mother grew up in a little town close to Spokane, Washington, and so going up into BC was like the thing that the family did, and I only ever got to go up there one time myself, but she talks about it like it's the most magical place in the world.
Well, it's pretty awesome. We did in between doing the Kamloops and Penticton Highland Games this year, we took a road trip through some of the southern interior of BC, like Caslow and Nelson and areas like that, and it's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So when was it a childhood thing that bagpipes came into your life, or is that a later in life kind of thing?
No, it was. So my mom was a big. She was into a lot of the Celtic culture and that. Like I grew up listening to Irish Rovers and other bands of that ilk kind of. And then my sister's 3 years older than me, and she was doing Highland dancing. Not sure exactly how that started, but I think it was a bit of my mom's influence, I would imagine. So she was. I was getting dragged along to Highland dance competitions and not to slag on Highland dance competitions, but it can be a little repetitive. I will admit it.
Yeah,
my sister's admitted it, but you know, but so my dad would always take me around and try to find other things to entertain me as a young child. So,
sure.
Yeah, I think it was around 9 at the time. Eventually, when I started seeing pipers playing. And in solo competitions and band competitions and that kind of stuff, and I was like, I want to do that. And my parents are like, no, you don't. You hate pipes. That's what you said because Highland dancing is, for a kid, it wasn't that interesting. So they always just assumed I hated pipes. But I was like, no, I want to do this. And I think it was about 2 years of bugging them before they finally actually got me a chanter. So I started when I was 11. So yeah, that was 1995. So
right on. So then were they once they did give in to your pressure,
Yeah.
were they pretty excited about the whole journey from there on, having being into the sort of like the culture and stuff already? It sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. They were supportive like you wouldn't believe. I was
Mm.
really really fortunate to have a really good support structure. So not just from my parents, but also like I got involved with the Legion Branch 53 band in Duncan, and met quite a few people there who gave me like immense amounts of support over the years. You
Mm.
know,
That's very cool.
so
Did you ever, or have you ever played for your sister while she danced?
it's been a lot of years,
Hmm.
but it has happened. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That
So my
kind of
sister's
feels like a
she's
yeah.
not doing a lot of dancing these days, but she was on the board for Shot of Scotch Highland dance
Mm.
adult Highland dance group in Vancouver. But
Oh, so she
she's
stayed
not
very involved in it then.
she is still involved, yeah.
Huh? Yeah. So then what so you got with it sounds like you probably got right into competition bands right away then based on what you're
Pretty
saying
much,
about
yeah.
yeah.
They only did one competition a year really.
Mm.
They did the like as a band. There was they used to have the up here in BC the Legion Highland Gathering every year. Happened in June, and it was honestly back in the '90s. It was a massive event.
Mm.
Be quite a lot of bands that would come out from all around BC every year, and multiple events, whole parades, and dress and deportment, and the whole works.
Mm.
And it was pretty huge. So that was kind of how I got into it, and then yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly how, but ended up just getting private lessons and things like that. So yeah.
So did you ever have I mean you started like that, you said 11, like that's pretty young.
hmm
Was there ever a period of your life where you put the pipes down and came back to them, or has it been nonstop ever since then?
I wish I could say it was nonstop, but no, there's so I made like starting from grade 11, I got lessons from Angus MacLeod. He used to do Coeur d'Alene and Nelson and things like he was quite a bit a prominent instructor, and I was really fortunate to have him as an instructor. But
Mm.
around 2001, I graduated high school, and that was when I made grade 2. But
Mm.
after that, it was like, okay, so I've graduated high school. Now what am I going to do? I
Mm.
have absolutely no idea. And there was just like a lot of instability in my life for a very
Mm.
long period of time. Went back to the Legion band briefly in 2007 and led them to one of those Legion Highland gatherings that aren't happening anymore. So I pipe majored that. It was a few months of that. That didn't work out. I was working with a cadet group out in Saskatchewan because I spent 7 years out in the Alberta and Saskatchewan as well.
Mm.
Tried with the Red Deer pipe band for a while in Red Deer, Alberta, because I was moving around trying to find work
Mm.
and such. So and then for after the Red Deer thing, I started actually working in the Alberta oil fields. So I'd be working 24 days on, 7 days off out in the middle of nowhere. The 7 days off usually ended up being 3 days off. And so piping just took a major back burner for about 5 years. And I actually didn't pick up my pipes at all.
Oh
I
wow.
did pick up a set of small pipes about 2012 or 13, I think it was. And that kind of kept me playing a little bit, but I didn't play my big pipes for about 5 years,
Yeah. Do
unfortunately.
you still have those small pipes?
I do. Yep. I still play them fairly regularly. My wife plays concertina now, actually, so
Oh,
I
very
did
cool.
a little bit of stuff playing with her with on the small pipes. So
Yeah. What just because we're all nerds here and like to nerd out about equipment, what maker did your small pipes?
they're John Walsh's,
Oh,
out
cool. I
out
also
of
play some John
Antigonish.
Walsh small pipes.
Yeah, they're pretty great, pretty stable.
Yeah,
Um,
I really feel like I mean his shuttle pipes I feel like are maybe kind of a big like a lot of people have shuttle pipes, but I've now had three sets of his small pipes like kind of passed through my hands. Like I got a D set and then was like, well, I think I want an A set, so I sold the D set and got an A set, and I was like, I kind of missed the D set, so I sold the A set and got an AD combo set. Right?
nice.
Should have just gone there, right?
Yeah.
But all of them that have passed through my hands at least have always been like, man, these are solid. It's basically plug and play, and they hum and they sound really good. Like every time you get them out, they just keep sounding good. Pretty cool pipes.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest problem I have is getting them in tune and keeping them in tune.
Mm.
I mean,
Do you
other
feel
than
like you have a challenge hopping back and forth with the pressure change from big pipes to small pipes?
yeah, I overblow the small pipes a bit. That's
Yeah.
probably part of my problem.
You know, the first time that I got small pipes were from another maker Dunfine, I think is the name, is what they're called. And they had this system inside of the drone stock, the common stock, where it was like the drones were a little bit on the shorter side, and then there were fairly long tubes that connected to the reeds inside of the common stock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was overblowing those things so much that I actually went to the hardware store and got longer tubes so that I could just basically pitch everything down by like almost a half step, because then I was going to blow so hard that I was going to blow it all back up again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge for a lot of us going from highland pipes to any other kind of pipes. Like,
Yeah.
we
I mean,
have a hard time
I've got a
dialing
set
it
of
back.
I got a set of uilleann pipes too, but I
Oh, did you?
don't really pick them up. The bag's leaking like an absolute sieve. I got them used from somebody on like Facebook Marketplace for $300, and then ever since I
Nice.
bought them, it's been a challenge just to get them work. And currently, I've just set everything to, okay, the bag is leaking like an absolute sieve. I need a new bag, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just waiting to get a new bag at some
That's
point.
the status.
Yeah, that's the status of the uilleann pipes. But the thing is, I have noticed is like if you kind of have to pick one set of pipes and work on that, because that's what you're going to be good at. If you spend all your time playing your practice chanter, you're going to be good at your practice chanter. If you spend all your time playing small pipes, you're going to be good at your small pipes. But if you spend all your time playing your big pipes, you're going to be good at your big pipes. So what do you actually want to be good at, right?
Kind of pick a focus.
Yep.
Yeah. That rings true for me. I feel like I've been in periods of my life where I spent more time on one instrument than the other, and there's like a level of comfort and familiarity that kind of builds up that like then
Absolutely.
if you spend less time for a while, when you come back to it, it's like, oh geez, this doesn't feel as cohesive as it used to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
then with the band, with the Grinning Barretts, I don't know, like where do these streams? I guess your mom was interested in like you were listening to like the Celtic music when you were younger, the Rovers, etc. Then you pick up pipes later, and we listened to a track from your punk rock band at the beginning of the episode. Like, where do all these things connect in your life? Is it early on? Is it much later? How does this all come together?
Well, how far back you want to go?
Let's go all the way back.
Yeah.
We got all the time in the world, man.
All right.
Let's go.
I have always loved like rock music and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In the 80s and then, I was 8 years old when Nirvana came out. So there was the whole grunge movement and Soundgarden and all Rage Against the Machine, of course, and all that
Yeah.
stuff from the early 90s that all came out. And then new metal came out, so I was right into that. I was just right in the target market for all that stuff. Korn, and of course Korn, Jonathan Davis plays bagpipes as well.
Yeah, there's your
Right.
Bagpipe connection right there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is a doable thing. I mean, he didn't do a lot of it, but it is a doable thing, right? And then after I graduated high school, I tried taking a jazz music program at Malaspina University College in Nanaimo, and I met some guys there who played in an AC/DC cover band. And they're like, "Hey, you play bagpipes? You want to play bagpipes with us?" So I did a few shows with them.
Was
playing
it
It's
just
a
the
long way
one
to
song?
just the
on
one
Bagpipe?
song. It's a long way to the top. But honestly, that was enough to be like, yeah, this is incredible. This is
Yeah, cool.
pretty awesome.
Because
And then-
to be clear, up until then, you'd done like competition style piping. Had you
Yep.
not done any other like sessions or anything like that?
No,
Gotcha.
no. I mean, I played tenor sax and oboe and alto clarinet and like school band, but that was about the extent of it. So
Gotcha.
no,
So
that
this was
was
kind of like a new experience.
it was
Yeah,
absolutely,
gotcha.
and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, so it was
Gotcha.
good. But
So-
yeah, the jazz program didn't pan out. Jazz is not my thing, but it was what was available. So and then yeah, after that, like I didn't really get any opportunities to. Like I wasn't doing a lot of playing anyways from about 2002 right up till about 2016. Like I wasn't really, like I said, that there was the odd little blips here and there where I'd for a few months I'd be with this band and a few months I'd be with this band, but I was kind of all over the place for that pretty much that entire period of time, just trying to get like a stable career, I would say, more than anything else, because so piping had to take a back burner. You need stable work in order to really pursue piping. Wasn't one of the
Yeah.
lucky few to make piping my career. So,
Yet.
we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely on a push right now to finally go from grade 2 to grade 1, but I don't think I'm there quite yet. But
That's exciting though, dude. That's really cool.
yeah, I'm finally at a stage in my life where making that push, I think is a possibility. So, you know,
But me
um,
personally, I'm still baffled that like I'm still just surprised that I can even eke out an existence in grade 3, and so I can't imagine being at the point where you could push up to grade 1. But that's pretty cool. I'm excited
mhm.
for you.
Well, I not to you know make a branding push or anything, but I have been attending the Piper's Dojo for the last year, and I know you're
Oh, there you
heavily
go.
involved in that because I've watched every single one of your dojo conversations with Andrew. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, actually that was how I got into the dojo, from watching you guys, and then I went and bought the Finding Bagpipe Freedom book, read that through a
Oh,
couple of times, and then
let me just take note real
you
quick. I'm
know,
going to send a sound clip to Andrew and be like, "There,
oh,
look,
Andrew
I can
knows. Andrew,
justify my existence."
you can justify your existence for sure,
You got
absolutely.
at least one new student. Thanks, thanks. There's at least one.
Yeah, I think Andrew already knows about that, but yeah.
Mm. Oh, that's cool.
So
No, so then was it like, do you feel, is there a direct line between having that ACDC cover band experience and the Grinning Barretts? I guess
no,
I should also ask to clarify, did you have a hand in starting the Grinning Barretts, or did you hop in at some point when the band already existed?
I did not actually have a, I didn't I so 2016, just to maybe as a clarification. So yeah, let me go back a little bit again.
Yeah.
So up until 2016, I was working in Alberta. But
Hmm.
in 2015, I'd actually broken my ankle, and I spent 10
Wow.
months holed up in a hotel in Grand Prairie.
Oh my gosh.
So I
You got to know that hotel really well.
really, really well while I did recovery. But part of it, the problem with that, what happened at that time was the company I was working for, they were basically, so I was on a return to work program because I very severely broke my ankle, broke the talus and tore 4 tendons in it, and it was quite bad. It still
Was it like
bugs
a
me to this day.
really
But
crazy accident, or was it like one of those things where like tripped over a door frame, but then the injury was huge?
um, I was on a ladder, actually, an aluminum ladder, and turned out there was just a teeny little tear in it that I didn't see,
Mm.
like a little crack in it, and the side rails actually, like, of not the inner rungs, the actual side rails of the ladder broke underneath me, and my feet got
Oh.
tangled up on the way down. It was only about 4 feet down, but with my feet getting tangled up in the railings, it
Mm.
was quite bad. So, but yeah, so anyway, everyone around me was getting laid off because they couldn't like legally lay me off because I was on a return to work program.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
um,
Yeah.
so I ended up being the last person in the whole division, and like WorkSafe BC had deemed that my ankle was not at a point where I could actually go back and work in the oil field because I couldn't get it stable enough. And after all the rehabilitation and going to the gym and all this kind of stuff, they still, like, it's still weak. So they said,
Mm.
no, you cannot go back and work in the oil field because you're completely unstable. You're going to re-injure it. Like, you cannot do this. You need to find new work.
Mm.
Right. So that was the out. The company offered me kind of a BS job they knew I couldn't take, which obviously I had to turn down. But I was fortunate
Yeah.
that the year before I had met the woman who is now my wife, and so I went from Alberta and said, okay, well, I can't work here anymore, so let's go to Nanaimo, where this lady is who is now my wife,
Mm.
and I moved in with her. So,
There you
you
go.
know, I was kind of jobless and homeless, and So, anyways, ended up, and she said, well, she works at the hospital here in Nanaimo, and said, why don't you try getting a job at the hospital? So,
Mm.
I ended up becoming a steam engineer.
Oh,
With
interesting.
Yeah, so I'm a third class steam engineer now, but working at the hospital here in Nanaimo, and eventually it took a long time, but so in 2016 I got that job working at the hospital. But also at the same time, in the early 2000s, I had gotten some lessons from Jim Barry, who lives probably about an hour's drive just south of me. He had a P-Rock competition, and this is tying to the Barretts, I swear. So, anyways, he had a P-Rock competition, and called the Bruce Knight Memorial that he runs. Bruce was a former member of the band here in town, and Silversmith, really, really, really nice guy. So the Bruce Knight Memorial happens every year, continues to happen now. It's a P-Rock competition. in Bruce's honor. So Jim said, "Hey, we're doing this. Do you want to take part?" And I was like, "Yeah." Meanwhile, I hadn't played my pipes in 5 years.
So you were like, yeah, oh my gosh, let me go get home and start playing.
Pretty much. So I spent the next, I think it was about 5 weeks straight, just living, eating, and breathing bagpiping when I wasn't driving to Victoria for work, because I actually got a job at the Victoria Hospital. So that was about a 2-hour drive each way. So I'm listening to Lament for Donald Dougal Mackay on repeat in my truck. Just
trying to get it into your bones.
Absolutely, just for 5 weeks straight, trying to get my pipes to a point where they sounded good, and went up there and I played it and got it done. Obviously did not win the competition for, obvious reasons, but I did the best I could. And it turned out that at that particular competition was Pat Westmacott and the first piper of the Barretts. His name is Kevin Dugan. I play in a competition band with Kevin now, actually. Super great guy. Kevin was the original piper for the Barretts. And he was, for personal reasons, wanting to take a step back. So they were at that competition trying to find someone to play with the Barretts. So I got a message, I think, the day after the competition, saying, "Hey, do you want to play with the Barretts?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I do." I haven't had an opportunity like this since 2002, I think it was. So 2001, 2002, I think was the last time I played with the AC/DC cover band. So I'm like, yes, I do want to play with the Grinning Barretts.
Yeah.
So that
luckily you were at that point, I'm imagining, like, feeling like you were at least a little more in shape on the pipes, right? After the rush to get ready for the P-Rock thing.
Absolutely. So I was able to kind of like rehabilitate my bagpiping a bit. And then, I had momentum at that point. And, it was kind of funny because I said, yes, I want to do this. And then it was kind of silence for a few weeks. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they're not. So I messaged Pat again. I think it was about 3 weeks later. And I was like, "Hey, are we doing this?" And he's like, "Well, I thought you didn't want to." And I'm like, no, I do.
Good thing you followed up.
Yeah. It turned out they were actually trying somebody else and that person didn't work out. So.
Geez, yeah.
There's
a lesson learned there. Everybody, we should always double check. We should always check in.
Always follow
Might have
up.
gone forever.
Yeah, the worst anyone can ever do is say no to you. So, but yeah, and then I've been. It was a few weeks of practices, and then did the first gig with the Barretts in February of 2017.
Gotcha. Well, great sound, man. You sound great. So, but that was that was in 2017. I'm trying to figure out, when did this Bottle Hymns album come out? Because that's all you, right? I'm assuming as I listen to this album, anytime I hear pipes or whistles, I'm guessing it's you.
Yeah. On that album is all me. We did a couple of EPs in 2018, and that was a mix of recorded tracks from Kevin and myself. That were on there, but Bottle Hymns, pipes and whistles are all me. I actually had to learn the whistle so I could play with the bagpipe, or play with the
did you?
Learn the whistle, play with the Barretts. So
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got you listed as vocals here too. Do you do vocals on a lot of the tracks?
Some of them. The start of Star of the County Down is me.
Near Pembroke's town in the county down one evening last July. From a boarding green came a sweet Christine, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so neat from her 2 bare feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Such a coaxing elf, should have shook myself, but I see I was really there. As she was there, I shook my head and gazed with a feeling weird. And I says I to a passerby, "Who's your one with a nut brown hair?" He smiled at me with bright says he, "She's the germ of all Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McCann from the banks of the band, with the star of the county down. From Bagpipes to Derry Cake, down in Dublin town. No maid I seen her with that Christine, I met in the county down. She was so brown eyed and looked so sly, and I smiled like a rose in June. And you held each note from her harp and throat as she loved the lamenting tunes. At the ballad dancing in a church, she took her a drink all real. When her eyes she'd roll as she left her soul, and her heart she'd lightly steal. From Bagpipes to Derry Cake, all in Dublin town. No maid I seen her with that Christine, I met in the county down. From Bagpipes to Derry Cake, all in Dublin town. No maid I seen her with that Christine, I met in the county down.
I have a verse, the third verse in Foggy Dew is me as well. Not a lot, but a little bit. And I do some background stuff.
Well, and the Foggy Dew, if I'm remembering right, that opens up with some whistle too, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. couple of like traditional tunes, like, and I feel like these ones they fit really well. The way that the Grinning Barretts took, you know, like the Grinning Barrett take on these tunes works really well. I really enjoyed it. Again, I'm not trying to say like, oh, you need my approval to say whether or not it's good. I'm just saying I thought they were great. Some of the stuff on here I don't recognize otherwise though, and so I'm thinking you got a few. There's a lot of these are originals, right?
They are, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, I'm pulling up a list here because I need to remember the track listing.
Because the only reason I ask, and I'm not judging anybody, just like in the same way that like bagpipes with rock music can be kitschy and gimmicky, like there's a big enough canon of traditional tunes. You could just do an album of traditional tunes, you know, and that on it, like really, if anybody did that, that would be fine. But it's cool to hear original stuff. It's fun. It's fun to have new stuff too. So
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
we've talked about maybe doing a trad cover album. And,
Oh, you should, dude. I
But,
I would love that. As a listener, I'd be excited about it.
yeah. But we are so I don't know if the guys will be okay with me with saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. We are working on another album.
Very
I
exciting.
Cannot give any timeline as to when that's going to be out, though. We are doing some recording. My schedule is getting in the way, as it does a lot. But
hey man,
for
listen.
recording, but
In the show notes for this episode, we'll have a link to the Bottle Hymns album that we'll play some samples from during this episode that we've been playing samples from. And then whenever the new album comes out, you know, I'll put it out on the show's social media for sure. And if you want to come back, we can talk about the new album too. We can do a little promotion thing for it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I would love that. Actually, you know, speaking of, we probably opened the episode with McPherson's Rant. That one is another traditional tune, right?
Yeah, that is a Scottish traditional. Yeah,
that's right. That's why it stood out to me, because I'd heard it before, but I'd only ever heard it in Scots.
Yeah.
I'm not fluent in Scots. I'm barely fluent in English. Like I have a hard time understanding lyrics in songs anyway. And so if it's in Scots, like I like the sound.
It goes by other names too. And sorry, the Corys.
No, go ahead.
Was another band that I remember my mom listening to a lot, and they did McPherson's Rant, but they called it something else. Could have been like McPherson's Lament, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sorry. This is the problem with being in front of Google. I'm like, now I need to look this up because.
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah, dude, I'm constantly looking stuff
Yeah,
up.
McPherson's Lament is another name for it. Also, McPherson's Farewell is another name. There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I'm really glad that like it triggered something in my head, because I heard it and I was like, this sounds familiar, but it's not quite the same as, like, I don't know. And I looked up you guys have the lyrics listed on Bandcamp. I looked at them. Mm-hmm. These lyrics are so killer. What is the line where the refrain where he says, let's see, McPherson's Rant. Let me hit the lyrics button here. This part right here where he says, "There's some come here to see me hanged and some to buy my fiddle. But before I part with her, I'll break it through the middle."
Yep.
It's so great, dude.
That's that was Pat's little rant from the breakdown in McPherson's. So
I love that.
It
That's
ties.
killer, man.
That was all Pat. That was all written by Pat.
Congrats, Pat.
He does
That
all
was
the,
so
he does
good.
all the lyrics. So I mean,
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, I respect that a lot. Being able to, like, with taking a traditional tune and doing your own spin on it and being able to like craft lyrics into a way that like there's a balance to be had between like respecting the tradition and also like making it your own thing. This is done, again, you don't need my approval, but I just think this is the whole album, everywhere that happens, is done so well. This is really good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Pat does all the lyrics, and he writes very interesting, intricate lyrics at times.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I really liked
and he screams them out so you can't hear it at all.
So then you have to go and read it, right?
That's okay. He knows it too.
Like I say, I don't understand lyrics anyway, so I'm fine with that. I have to go and read them anyway, no matter how clear they get sung. But
Fair.
Same, like Divide by a Negative and 10 Tera Ohm too. Several of these, I went in reading. I'm like, man, this is like some great, really cool, like some double entendre stuff, some playing with words and stuff.
Those are both originals written by Pat.
Very cool songs. I like them a lot. Well, so
actually, let me be fair here. All the originals are written by Pat. I don't think.
No, right on.
I think they're all written by Pat. So.
Well, we've listened at this point to a couple of the traditional takes on traditional tunes. Maybe we hop to an original. I do really like Whiskey with the Lads.
Yeah, that's another one that Pat wrote as well.
I like that one a lot.
some first like the times that we've had. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. I just might ain't my first, it won't be my last. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. All the jokes that we tell, they've all been told before, but every one of them is really rolling on the floor. Guys, there ain't no one among us inclined to act this age. This one's for the choir, the best of times up on the stage. Sing us some verse like the times that we've had. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. I just might ain't my first, it won't be my last. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. Gray eyes and gentlemen fishing like a hose. At the end of his friend has got his nose. And when John is pouring whiskey, I know I'll wake up sick. It happens every fucking time, cause I don't learn so quick. Sing us a verse like the times that we've had. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. I just might ain't my first, it won't be my last. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. These are my birds of a feather. The times are good with the old crews together. It's not best time to go, so let's have another round. Pay the price with the wines if we show up around. Half past two hours late, stumbling like others. Cause whiskey with the lads puts a smile on my face. Say us a verse like the times that we've had. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. I just might ain't my first, it won't be my last. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. Say us a verse like the times that we've had. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads. I just might ain't my first, it won't be my last. Things could be worse. I'm drinking whiskey with the lads.
So what's your experience like coming into a band that already exists, especially since you play in your competition band with the previous piper? Like, do you feel like there's more pressure in that situation than there would have been if you were the, originating piper?
To be fair, it was the late fall of 2016 when Kevin stepped away, and I took on the role of playing with the Barretts. And then the competition band that we played were originally called the Mid-Island Competition Band. We have been talks of changing the name, but I don't know if that'll happen. But we've only been 2 seasons in, so it was a brand new band in our area.
Gotcha.
Basically, because we've got community bands. There's actually 5 pipe bands in the Central Island, but they're all really small.
Wow. That's great to have such a wealth of choices, though. That's awesome.
Wealth of choices, but like they're all like really small, And I do
barely
feel,
scraping together competition numbers, kind of thing.
Well, none of them compete. They're
yeah.
just straight community bands. The odd parade here and there, maybe a show or something, but like there's not really. Mount Aerosmith, I would say, is the most active that I've seen, anyways. They're out of Parksville, and yeah, they go up and down the island and play different things and do pub crawls and stuff like that. I'm really more focused on like especially right now, I want to get better. So competition, I think, is where I'm at. And actually joining the band has been really good, because when you're playing solo, it doesn't matter if your strike-ins are good, and it doesn't matter if your cutoffs are good or any of that kind of stuff. Just make sure your tone and your sound is good, and generally you're kind of okay. But my band craft over the last couple of years has definitely gotten a lot better, because 15 years of not really doing a whole lot, it deteriorated. So
you've been forced to kind of clean things up, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's been really good, because solo and band are different things. They're different beasts.
Yeah. Well, and I've never played with a punk band on my pipes or otherwise, so I don't really know, but I'm assuming, and you please feel free to elaborate and tell me, if solo competition and band competition are different things, surely the rock scene is a different thing as well. Like,
absolutely. I was just thinking that too.
What are you finding that like you're getting from these different sort of outlets, and what do you find that you need to work on for these things that's different? Like from one to the next, I mean.
I think the biggest thing is just making sure my sound is good. Especially with the Barretts, because I play a B flat chanter with the Barretts.
Sure.
making sure that my sound is on point, because it's very, very easy, especially when you're on stage for 2 hours, for your pipes to just sharpen like anything.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So that's a big challenge. And sometimes I just don't care and I just play.
Getting a little out of tune is maybe kind of punk rock anyway. So maybe go for it, right? Get it grungy.
Well, it's kind of funny because there's an odd little story maybe. We were opening for the Real Mackenzies in Victoria quite a few years ago, and we had a second piper at that time, Tamara Cameron. She was really awesome.
Yeah, I saw some pictures where you guys had two pipers like floating around on the internet.
We've had quite a few members in and out over the years. Trying different things. But yeah, Tamara was with us for a little while, and she was there at that time. And her and I were in the parking lot tuning up. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Real Mackenzies, but they're
I am.
So their piper Aspie Louison came out and said, "Hey, how's it going, guys?" And started chatting. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're tuning, right?" Because two pipers, we kind of, it's really important we sound tuned together. And Aspie's like, "Nah, this is punk rock. You don't need to worry about tuning."
Takes one of your chanters away and rips tape off. There.
So I was like, okay, one piper, yeah, fair enough. Like if I'm a little bit out of tune, but when we had two pipers and they were out of tune, it was not good.
It can be pretty bad.
We really, Tamara and I really had to make sure we were at least in tune with each other.
Yeah.
So
how even when solo though, like when playing one of these like rock gigs, how do you manage that? Like I say, I'm very unfamiliar, but I'm very curious about it too. Like, what's your microphone setup? And also, like, do you pack multiple reeds, or do you try synthetic reeds? Like, how do you manage getting from the beginning of the show to the end with everything being functional and properly audible and not overwhelming, etc.?
To be fair, we used to do 4-hour shows at a local brewery in Shemaine. It's Riot Brewing. They sadly closed a couple of years ago. So we're no longer doing that, but we would play for about 4 hours.
That's a long time.
2017, 18, 19. There was absolutely no way my drone reeds were going to be working at the end of that.
Surely not. Yeah.
But the thing is, with my drones, we don't mic my drones.
Gotcha. So if they come through at all, fine, but it's not like you're worrying about it.
Yeah, I try to make sure they're kind of okay for the little solo bits and things like that I do. But if they're not, whatever.
The rest of the band's plenty loud, I guess.
You're not going to hear them anyways. Yeah. So for the chanter, for quite a lot of years, we had attached to my mic stand a Beta 58 that I would play into. Now I've got a Sennheiser E602 that I've rigged onto my. Well, I rig it up for every show and take it down for when I compete, because I only have one set of pipes, but. I attached to my.
I'm pretty impressed that you're doing all this with one set of pipes. Honestly,
one set of pipes, and actually, another thing that too is after that 5-year period when I was getting them back to ready to go, I didn't oil them properly, and my bass drone actually has a crack in it.
Oh no! Are you just powering through with it?
Pretty much.
Wow.
I epoxied it back together right then and there, and still doing quite well with it. I'm competing with it actually, and last competition season was quite successful. So even though there's a crack in it, I'm still kind of doing okay.
All right. I mean, scars tell stories. That's fine.
Yeah. So as long as I'm still doing okay, it's not holding me back. It's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I started playing my pipes a bit this morning, about 2 hours ago. I'm sidetracking you again. Sorry.
No, that's
about 2 hours ago.
What's what it's all about, man.
And I went to do my just some maintenance checks, because it's been a few weeks, and so I went to do some maintenance checks, and question one: is my bag airtight? Stuck the corks in and blew it all up, and it's leaking crazy. The glue is let go from the grommet on my outer tenor drone, so my pipes are unplayable now, unfortunately. So I need to. This was 2 hours ago. So
so there you go. It's a constant process.
Yeah,
I was just talking about that with and I'm surely everybody listening can definitely relate. I was just talking about that with a couple of friends last night too, about one of these friends was going through maintenance on multiple sets of pipes, trying to get everything tightened up, and we were just talking about how like the 5 minutes it takes you to find the loose joint and put a little hemp on there makes such a huge difference. Like actually tight pipes
Absolutely.
such a joy to play, but we
Yeah.
will go months without taking those 5 minutes, you know?
Yep. Absolutely.
We're a silly lot.
The last couple of times I played them, over the last few days, I was like, man, these are not feeling right. You know, I'm powering through, and I'm trying, and so it's like today, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do a maintenance day, and yeah, sure enough, that's why.
Well, there you go.
So
I guess the
yeah.
bonus is that now when you do get it all tightened up and blow them up to play, it's gonna feel like it's gonna feel easy by comparison to how it's
Yep.
been for the last little while.
So it's going to be a little bit, because living on the island, we don't have a supplier locally, so I have to order everything.
Oh,
There is
yeah.
there's Jack and Terry Lee's Tartantown in Vancouver. I order from them regularly. But yeah, we'll see.
Do you? I mean, like, of course, like I haven't been present physically myself to watch you perform, so maybe this is a silly question for me to ask. Like, but I feel like in general, most of us, when we're playing in like a solo competition or a band competition, our physicality is very subdued, very demure, right? We're very much like, we're kind of like statues. A lot of us are, at least.
Yeah.
That doesn't. There's nothing wrong. Like, I think of Arthur Killer Kane, who played the bass for the New York Dolls, he would just stand still like a statue and play. So like you can do that in
Bass face.
rock music as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
You know,
Exactly.
Yeah, you just kind of stand there and stare, and they call it bass
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
Bass face,
know.
exactly. That's exactly. I didn't know that was a phrase, but yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, bass face. So, I mean, how do you handle that when you're playing pipes on stage at a rock show? Are you trying to be animated? Does it come naturally, or do you just go ahead and own the fact? Like, do you have bass face, and do you go with that?
I do not. I'll admit it. I really like when I'm competing. Yeah, I got bagpipe face for sure.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm focusing on what I'm doing. You know, if I'm playing for the public or something, then yeah, I'm focusing. I want to do it right. You know, especially if it's like an event you're getting paid, like a wedding or a funeral or something. You want to do it right. You want to look good. You know, when I'm on
Yeah.
stage with the Barretts, nah, I just have fun. You know, I'm 42 years old, so after a gig and struggling to walk in the morning, but we played a show in June with a couple of young punk bands on the island, Young Guys Danger Box, and you guys are gonna be mad at me. I've forgotten the other band's name now. Oh,
Don't worry. We can
That's
take a
okay.
minute to find it or something, and then I can just edit it together later. Don't worry about it.
yeah. Anyways, So anyways, I'm watching all these young guys, and and they're 20 years old, and they're high energy.
Yeah,
And
doing
I'm like,
backflips over the drum set and stuff.
pretty
right?
much, like full on jumps with their guitars, and I'm like, you guys, and they were great, absolutely entertaining.
Meanwhile, you're like being cautious with your broken ankle still, right?
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah.
just
So
taking
that's
it easy on
the other thing I
stairs.
have to manage too. Is like going up on stage. I got my piping socks on, but I'm wearing like sneakers with orthotics in them. Just rocking the full on 40s, but
Well, I'll tell you what, if the other bands ever happen to listen to this, if they're upset about you not remembering the names, there's your built-in excuse. Hey, we're old, man.
we're old. We
It's
got
hard to
gray
remember
hair. We got
things.
broken bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I try my best, and because after that, I was like, oh man, I got to try to live up to these guys. So yeah, I was kind of going for it and trying to get the energy up. And honestly, it was a great show. The crowd was right into it, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I was definitely paying for it the next day.
Yeah.
So there's
I hear you
it's
there.
kind of funny. My wife, because back 2017, 18, when I was kind of just figuring this all out, my wife used to call it the grind thing that I do, and it's you kind of just sway back and forth a little bit, like kind of with your hips, and like raise your feet, almost like a little Elvis-y kind of, because there's not a
Sure.
lot of like motion and stuff that you can do playing the pipes, right?
I know exactly the motion you mean, because that keeps your hands on the chanter steady
does.
while the rest of your body is moving. Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
It does, yep. So and it's kind of funny because I've seen like other, big pipers do it. I've seen like Allie the Piper, she does the same thing,
Yeah, totally. I
right?
feel like I
And
can picture Ross Miller doing it in my mind as well.
Probably, yep. Absolutely. So, but now I'm like, you know what? Whatever. And I'm at the point now where if we're live and I happen to miss a little bit of a cue, I mean, the guys might not like this, but if I miss a cue, I'm like, life goes on.
It's a good attitude to have. It's a good philosophy.
Right? And if you got one hand on your chanter and one hand not on your chanter and you're, trying to get the crowd riled up, all that people are going to remember is how they felt at the end, right?
Yeah.
There's a huge kind of a thing like, as long as you start strong and you finish strong, that's all that matters, but as long as everyone in front of you is having fun and you're having fun, end of the day, that's all that matters.
That's beautiful.
Sorry, I do sidetrack on things quite a bit, so I do apologize on that. But
not all, Aaron. Anytime, like you said a couple times during this episode, anytime a guest says, actually, there's kind of a funny story with that. Those I totally relate to, like the feeling that that's pulling the conversation or interrupting the flow of the conversation or something like that. But those, I'm pretty well convinced that those are actually the most enjoyable parts of any interview. Like that's what people are tuning in to listen to, is those funny stories that come up along the way. So
yeah. Oh, here's another one. We have a track that came out. So we're on a label called Outhouse Records. And
Outhouse Records.
Outhouse Records.
Very cool. Yeah. I like that.
And we had a weekend with a bunch of the other bands over on Thetis Island, and we recorded kind of a like a sampler album of the record, and then each band did 2 tracks. And one of the tracks that we did on that album, it's the Outhouse Records compilation album, was called I Remember. And Pat wrote it after Riot Brewing had closed, because they were really, really good friends of ours. We played a lot of shows there. We really became a band at Riot Brewing. So yeah, shout out to Ralph and Allie, who are moved on with their life now that the brewery's gone. But within those lines, you might want to get ready with your censoring thing here. There's a line where Pat says something along the lines of, Aaron broke his ass jumping off the bar.
Is this a true story?
This is 100% true story, actually.
Great.
So, because at the brewery there was, and we didn't do this every night, but sometimes when we played there, the band would probably drink just as much as the people that we were playing for, and this was one of those nights, and I was on top of the bar playing my pipes, and it was kind of a concrete bar and a concrete floor. And when I was done playing and went to go back and join the other guys, I decided it would be smart for some reason to jump off of the bar with my pipes in everything. Just open my pipes over my shoulder. And what I had not factored in was the coefficient of friction loss from all the spilled beer on the floor.
Oh, man.
So it was one of those moments where time slows down.
Yeah.
And, I felt my feet land solidly on the floor, and then all of a sudden my feet were at eye level. and saving my pipes were undamaged, but yeah, I went straight down on my rear end. And
that's what all of us were thinking right away, like, oh, what happened to his bagpipes?
Yeah, no, but pipes were fine. Full disclosure. Saved my bagpipes. That's the important thing. But yeah, I broke my tailbone.
Oh, man.
So
and that must have been post ankle too. So you're all kinds of busted up.
Yeah, there's the line at the end, one for family we choose, one for the riot crew. Is the ending tags on that, and it's poignant for us anyways, just because we had a lot of really good friends from there. So yeah, we miss them.
I don't know if it's generally applicable to songwriting, but I have heard people say before that, like, if you're writing a song, you might think that you have to be general for it to be generally applicable to your potential audience.
Mm-hmm.
But the secret is actually be really specific. And the more specific you are to your own experience, your own feelings, etc., the more generally applicable that will be. Like, that's going to connect on a more immediately and more deeply for people listening, even if they don't have direct access to what specifically you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got like it talks for one for family we choose, right? There's I've got a pipe bag that has a bunch of badges on it and stuff, and
I've seen pictures, yeah.
Yeah, one of the, where is it here? Hang on.
You got a lot of badges.
I'm gonna get
this.
I'm gonna get this
Takes
right.
a minute.
Yeah, I try not to play with this bag with the competition van, so I've taken it off. Yeah, blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. That's what it is. So like the people that you choose, sort of to spend time with you, and the people who give respect back to you, and you respect in turn, like, like we all have our family, but the people who actually respect you are that's the important thing, So it's one for the family we choose, one for the riot crew, and there was definitely like a lot of mutual respect that went on with all of us. They actually brewed a beer and named it after us at one point too.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
That's like a squad goal for every pipe band, surely, and probably just about any other person or band or group. Like, if you could get a brewery to name something specifically after you, that's a pretty cool badge of honor to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Since Riot closed, we haven't really had conversations as a band about this, but I almost, like, on a personal level, feel like we've been struggling a little bit since they closed, just kind of, finding our identity again, and it's like a brave new world kind of a thing, right? But
that's interesting that, like, the place and space, and of course the people there are almost like another band member, and so having it gone, it's like the band is different.
Yeah, it kind of, So, but yeah, we're working on the positive. Like I said, we are working on a new album. Whenever my schedule frees up and I can actually get recording, I think there's about 4 more tracks that I have to record. I think Pat said so. We do it all. Instead of like everything we've ever recorded and put out, we all recorded in Pat's basement because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because back in the day, Pat was like, well, we can spend, $15,000 or whatever it is on studio fees to try to get this thing, or I can just go and buy all the gear we need and learn how to do it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
So Pat's been over the years, he's been collecting and changing his gear, and slowly, like as you listen to the albums, you can actually hear how Pat's getting better and better and better at, mixing and mastering and recording and everything, as things kind of improve as we slowly go along,
Oh, yeah, that's super cool.
So yeah, it's all DIY,
Well, it would have been enjoyable anyway, but that kind of makes it even better listening to it, just because it does sound really good. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, but like I said, the one problem with that is, like, if you book a studio, you have to do it within a specific amount of time. It's forced to go there, but like,
right.
This might be part of the reason why it takes us so long, because it's like, oh, I got I've got to work, I got all this other stuff and going on, and I got to find time to get to Pat's so that we can actually do some recording.
Yeah.
And that's my fault, but.
Well, listen, let's plan to have you back when the new album comes out. And anybody listening, to check out the rest of this album as well as the other tracks that the band has put out, just check out the notes in the show notes here. We'll have a link to your stuff on Bandcamp and the band website and stuff. And Aaron, I want to give away a copy of the Bottle Hymns album to one of the show supporters.
Oh, sure.
And I used to always cut this in later, but lately I've been thinking, it's kind of fun to do it live. So the way I do this is I have a list of everybody supporting the show here. And then I've got a dice tower that's shaped like the idol of Cthulhu. I'll drop a D20 through, and I'll just let Lord Cthulhu decide who gets a copy of this album. So I'm going to bring it up close to the microphone here so we get the Foley, the nice sound of the dice falling.
Get the ASMR going.
That's right.
There you go.
It's a 20. I got to re-roll because there's only 18 people on the list. 1 sec. 17. Hang on. Camille. Camille, who was
Hey!
the first supporter of the show.
Camille, good job.
of Ozzy Osbourne fame from the Chanter Rant. So thank you, Camille. Gonna have a copy of this album headed your way here shortly. And with that said, I think at this point we'll head toward that tune that you mentioned that you usually finish sets off with, the classic, the Parting Glass.
Yep.
The Grinning Barretts take on the Parting Glass. And again, hey, congrats. The first ever episode of the Droning On podcast with an explicit tag. You guys take the cake.
Hey, there we go.
Not too bad, though.
I think this is the way.